The other two options are Apistan and Apivar, and there's a third one that's approved for use in Ontario called Bayvarol, made by Bayer, but Bayer was supposed to introduce it or July, I think they were supposed to have it in Canada, and now they're saying September or October before they have it in Canada, which they'll miss the whole season anyways. So these are our two options this year. They're both a pesticide, and specifically a miticide. They will not harm your bees. The pesticides that are on this will only harm mites. Apivar looks like this, and Apistan is basically the same thing, but it's a different color. So you have Apistan and Apivar. They're both plastic or pesticide impregnated plastic. The treatment method and treatment protocol for both is exactly the same. Same as Bayvarol if we ever get it. And what you do with these is you pull your honey supers off your hive. And this is where, with the pesticides, where treating your bees, if you have one box or two boxes, is completely different. If I have one brood chamber, then I go to my beehive and I have to treat with two strips. Not one of you, use two of the same one, right? So if I'm treating with Apistan or Apivar, I would get two strips. And I would put one strip on each side of the brood chamber, or the brood nest. And then I put my lids back on, wherever they are. There. I put my lids back on, like that. I wait for 41 days. I go back out, I take the lid off, pull the strips out, I'm done. And my bees have not had Varroa mite on them for 41 days. It kills Varroa mite in that beehive for a full 41-day period. So that the pesticides give your bees the longest break in time with no Varroa mite on them. Formic acid and oxalic acid kills the mite, dead. And after it's killed it, there's no residual effect in the hive. So you're killing them, and then they start breeding again. And you kill them, and they start breeding again. With Apivar Apistan, you're putting the Apivar Apistan in the hive, it's killing your Varroa mite, and they're not breeding anymore. It's killing them. And you leave it in there for 41 days. At the end of the 41 days, your bees have probably lived in that hive for 30 days with no Varroa mite. So they've actually been able to live almost like it was before we had Varroa mite in Canada. Okay? After the 41 days of them being in there, you go out to your hive and pull the two out. And you put your lid back on and you're done. They've been treated for Varroa mite. If you're running a double brood chamber, so two deep boxes, you need to use 4 of these. You need to put 2 in the bottom, and you need to put 2 in the top. So your cost of treating your bees went double. So instead of being $6, it's $12 per hive, right?
So if you use the Mite away.
Yes.
Now. Okay.
Now in September, yeah.
Yeah. And then later this spring. And then you let it go for a while. Can you use this? Can you mix?
You can do whatever you want. Yeah. There's no real need to. I would say if you're going to treat with formic acid or Mite away in September, that's your treatment. You're not going to treat with this again.
I have a lot of mites.
But if you treat with formic acid in September or Mite away in September, it's going to kill all your mites. So you don't really need to put this in. So you'd pick one or the other at that time. I treated the beginning of August with formic acid. I'm going to treat with Apivar Apistan in September. That's what I'm going to do. And then in November, I'm going to treat with oxalic acid at the end of the year, in November. The drench method, right? And that's my fall treatment protocol. I'll treat 3 times with 3 different medications to make sure that my bees can go into winter with a perfectly, as healthy of a hive as I can get, right? So Apivar Apistan, and if you get Bayvarol, treatment is exactly the same. You put the strips into your hive, you leave them in there for 41 days, you pull them out on 41 days. You don't leave them for 62 days. At 41 days is the date where the level of pesticide starts dropping off on the bell curve. So for that 41-day period, you have a pesticide level about here, and then after 41 days, the level of pesticide starts dissipating. And if you leave them in there too long, what happens is the level of pesticide gets to a point where the Varroa mite can live. And if the Varroa mite can live with minuscule amounts of pesticide on them, eventually they'll become immune to them. And you'll be breeding pesticide-resistant Varroa mite. So if you're using these things, you need to follow the instructions and pull them out at 41 days. If you're running a double brood chamber, don't be cheap and go, oh, I'm only going to use 2 because I don't want to spend the money. Because all that's doing is underdosing your bees, and they could get, the Varroa mite could get resistance to them. Okay?
So you don't think it's we've got to break apart the double brood chamber you've got to break.
If you have a double brood chamber, you have to break apart both boxes. You need to put these in both boxes.
So we don't
2 in the bottom, 2 in the top.
You don't think that's too
What?
disruptive that winter to break it apart?
Well, you're not
twice?
doing it at winter. You're doing it in September.
Well, sorry, September, but you're
Well,
leaving
no,
it in 41 days.
disruptive
then-
in September is grabbing your frames and banging them, stealing all the honey and doing all that weird stuff. That's disruptive in September. Disruptive in September is better than dead in February because you didn't do that. Right? So if you don't treat well for Varroa mite in September, your bees just aren't going to live through the winter, or they're not going to live through spring. They might live through winter, but they might not live through spring because the Varroa mite level is too high. Yes?
You talked about how with the pads and the formic acid that it would go up and then the mite population will keep going up and down, rising and falling.
Yes.
With these ones here, you said you had a 41-day window.
Well, you throw it in for 41 days, and what happens is at the beginning, the level of pesticide is building inside the hive.
Right.
And it'll get to a point where the Varroa might drop off because the level of pesticide is higher than what the Varroa mite can live at. Then it stays at that level, which keeps the population of Varroa mite very low for the treatment period, which is 41 days, minus the days at the beginning where the level wasn't high enough.
Right.
So about 30 some odd days, it kills, I think, Apivar 99.5 or something like that % of the Varroa mite will be dead for almost the whole 41-day treatment.
Then after the 41 days, then it can start.
Then the pesticide level drops off,
Yeah.
so you want to pull them out. And at that point, whatever Varroa mite are left in there, if there's 50 Varroa mite left in your beehive, they will start breeding again, right? And then there's nothing you can do will get rid of Varroa mite forever. Because bees fly back and forth, they hang out with each other. Drones will go from one hive to the next and hang out and do whatever drones do. So they recontaminate each other all the time. So you'll never get rid of all your Varroa mite. All you can do is treat repetitively to hopefully keep the level low enough your bees can be healthy. That's all you can really do. Okay?